Hey everyone, now that the holiday season is upon us, it's time to start thinking about baking, and all baking begins with flour. So first we stop by the McCarran Park Green Market for a lesson in locally milled flour. Then the girls at Ovenly invite us over to put the stuff to good use. After a tutorial in the perfect pie dough, they whip up their signature hot tarts, an awesome treat that will make Christmas morning even better. Cayuga Pure Organics is located in Brooktondale, New York, and their freshly milled flour is available year-round at the Green Market. Sophie Varanian is here to tell us about the company and about the importance of sourcing your flour locally.
Cayuga was started a few years ago. It's an organic bean and grain farm. It's kind of like a cooperative between a few different farms and a mill. Right now we have 9 kinds of flour and 3 gluten-free, a few low gluten ones, and some really awesome wheat flours. We mill organic grain and we mill it fresh. So all the flour that we sell at markets is never more than a month old. Usually it's within 2 weeks of milling we try and sell it by. You get all the nutrients that are usually taken out by conventional flours in the bleaching and just the additives that they add in for preserving, giving the flour a longer shelf life.
Do you have to do anything differently because it is a little bit different than something you would find in the grocery store?
Storage-wise, it's always recommended to keep anything that's fresh milled in the refrigerator. It keeps the oils fresher. And because the oils are so fresh, if you just leave it in your cupboard, especially now that it's winter and heaters are starting to come on, you'll notice that the flour will start to go rancid a little faster.
As far as baking with it, can I use the same ratio that a recipe would call for?
Yep, same measurement, same ratio. I guess the only difference you notice is taste. It'll be a little grainier. It'll actually taste like what it's made from, not just that like pasty white goo that you get from lots of other flours. And the consistency might be a little different. I find that with fresh flours that you want to use a little more liquid. It tends to be a little crumblier, but it's so good. And I can't go back to the normal gold mill.
All-purpose flour you can use for everything. What other flours here are your favorite to bake with?
And I really like the whole wheat pastry flour. It's made with soft white winter wheat. It's a low protein flour, so it has less gluten, so it doesn't hold together as well as like a high protein flour does. But it's got really nice flavor. I use it for pie doughs.
And it's whole wheat, so it's good for you. So then you can feel really good about eating your pie.
And good for pancakes too.
So what is the price difference between getting a locally fresh milled flour to buying one in the grocery store?
Well, our flours are either $5 or $6, and it is definitely more expensive than what you would buy like conventional flour. But what you're paying for is fresh flour. It hasn't been sitting around for like 3 or 4 months. We're certified organic. You get all the nutrients and you're supporting your local farmers. We're not subsidized, so this is what it actually costs to make this product. And we're giving it to you at the best price that we can give while still being able to be a business.
And it's worth every penny.
Yes, it is. Yeah, you try it and you can't go back.
Now it's on to Ovenly, a Greenpoint-based creative kitchen founded by Agatha Kalaga and Aaron Patinkin. The girls specialize in pastries, baked goods, and salty sweet bar snacks, so we dropped by their Williamsburg apartment to put our local flour to good use.
The local organic flours, they have a lot more flavor. You can actually taste what the flour is made from rather than tasting like nothing.
I actually find the local flours to have a little bit of a nuttier flavor.
Exactly.
And that makes sense because the climate is different out here.
So what are we making today?
Today we're making a pumpkin pie spice hot tart, which is a Pop-Tart for adults.
So we are preparing the dough right now for the hot tarts. In the food processor right now we have 2½ cups of flour, and we're adding a tablespoon of sugar and a teaspoon of salt. We're gonna mix everything together a few times, and we have 16 tablespoons of frozen butter.
If you don't have a food processor, can you still make pie dough?
Yes, you can. You can use a pastry cutter or 2 forks, and it'll take a little bit more time, but you can absolutely do that as well and just blend everything together until it makes a sort of sandy, coarse, crumbly texture.
So we're gonna turn this on for a second, and we're just gonna pulse it until all the butter is blended, and then it'll look kind of like cornmeal. You can still see beads of butter in there, that's fine. For this dough, you don't want really big chunks of butter.
So now we're going to be adding about 1/8 to 1/4 cup of ice water.
You know it's ready when it's starting to stick together a little bit on the top. You never, ever, ever want to let your dough be blended enough until it turns into a ball in your food processor, because you're going to end up with a tough dough. What I'm doing now is I have this dough that's obviously doesn't look like pie dough, and what we're going to do is we're going to press it. At this point, you know when your kneading is done when the dough is together. And as soon as the dough is together, that's when you stop kneading. It takes a while and you just need to experiment.
And be patient.
And be patient, and you'll one day just know what the dough is supposed to feel like. So I press that into a 6-inch disc, and I'm gonna wrap it in saran wrap. And then we're gonna pop it in the fridge for a half an hour. If you tried to roll this out right now, it would not really hold together. You'd have to patch it. It's really important that you let the dough rest.
Here we have 3/4 cup of pumpkin puree. We have 1 egg, and here we have a spice blend. So we're just gonna whisk that together and then add a 1/3 cup of sugar, and we have organic cane sugar here. Make sure it's incorporated. And we decided for this one, we're just gonna add some diced pecans, which we roasted for about 10 minutes in the oven.
So we have unwrapped the pie dough. We have a flat disc. We're gonna flour the board. We're gonna flour the top just a little bit.
And you wanna make sure that you're rotating the dough, and that just causes more even distribution. And you want to roll the dough out to about 1/8 of an inch thick.
We're gonna do 9 inches long, and we're gonna do 3.5 inches wide, so I'm just gonna score my dough. What I like to do to make sure that the dough sticks together is I'm gonna brush it with water on half.
And that's because we'll be folding it over.
And spoonful.
You just don't want to put too much of the filling on because it'll come out of the sides once it's baking. So it's about a tablespoon and a half.
Now we're gonna fold it over, and starting on the very edge, we're gonna press it down just lightly. And the reason I do that is so that I wanna get the edges and not press too close to the center because the filling would ooze out on the side. Like with all pies, you have to make some air vents, otherwise you're gonna have some crazy explosions happening. And so I just take my fork and I press a couple holes in it, and that is how it's gonna look before we bake it.
So the final touch is the egg wash, and it's just 1 egg yolk with a tablespoon of water, and it gives it a nice shine once it's baked.
And we're gonna pop it into the freezer for 5 minutes. You can keep it in the freezer for up to a month as long as it's well wrapped.
The girls pop the tarts in the oven at 400 degrees for 20 minutes, and then it's time to taste. The pastry dough is so flaky. That's awesome. It's really, really good.
And
I'm just
like I
getting
said, you can have
crumbs all
them
over.
prepared the night before so that you're ready to eat the next
Also,
morning.
You know, if you think in a month you'll have a hot tart craving, just stick them in the freezer and then bake them up later.
Exactly.
Hey guys.
Hi.
Hey, we thought we'd find you back here.
We brought you a little present.
Ooh, what is it?
More hot tarts, because you liked them so much, we wanted to give you some for Christmas. We brought you another pumpkin one because you like that so much, but then we also brought a s'mores hot tart, a lemon mascarpone fig hot tart, and also an eggnog hot tart, because we thought that would be very holiday-y.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Now I don't have to do any holiday baking.
That's why we brought them.
Happy holidays.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy.
Ooh, Christmas morning! I am so excited to eat my hot tart, drink my cider, and open presents. For the full ovenly hot tart recipe, visit hungryyinbrooklyn.com. And happy holidays from all of us here at Hungry in Brooklyn.